Our third story of the day, which is Kyle versus Sutton. And then after this, we will get into the actual episode. So we're in it for a while today. We're in it for a while. All right. So this is all about Kyle versus Sutton. And I'm going to tell you where I weigh in on this, but I'll give you guys the background detail. Okay. Now let's get into it. So this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Kyle Richards is calling out Sutton Stracke, who shaded Kyle for not disclosing more about her marital issues on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kyle also explained why she's taking a break from Sutton, and she shared a post questioning why Sutton got divorced. According to many fans, Sutton will stab her own stuffed animals in the back to create a good scene or win favor on social media. Each swing of the knife is strategic, they say, and she knows exactly what she's doing. Well, this is the thing. Do I think Sutton knows exactly what she's doing? Yes. But do I think she's stabbing anybody in the back? No. Okay. On Kyle's Instagram stories, the OG shared a post calling out Sutton's hypocrisy. I don't think that Sutton is being hypocritical. This is what the article says. I kind of land on it in a different way, but the screenshots are on the screen, and this is what they say. It says, you know what's funny? Sutton wants Kyle to tell what's going on in her marriage in every detail about her life. Meanwhile, this is Sutton's 4th year, and we have zero clue why she got divorced and what led to it, wrote at Reality TV Guru 13. In a separate post, Kyle shared a meme of Sutton as Darth Vader, parodying his infamous line, Kyle, I am your sister, wrote at the Zen Blonde, alluding to Sutton's odd suggestion in the latest episode that she was one of Kyle's sisters. I don't know who. Listen, Reality Blurb, like no tea, no shade, but your articles sometimes sound like you're being paid by people. Because I don't understand I don't get it. I don't get it. Put it that way. Because number one, let's break this down really quickly. And I want to know what you guys think. If you agree with Reality Blurb's take on this, let me know. If you don't, also let me know. Okay. But let's break this down just a little bit. Number one, Sutton's not being a hypocrite by asking Kyle to divulge more of the information or rationale or issues that's going on in her marriage. Number one, that's literally her job. The name of the show is The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's baked in that you talk about your marriage, right? Number two, Kyle brought it up herself. First episode, when they did the whole fake spiritual eagle eye bamboo, whatever the hell they did. So I don't even know I don't know. Joshua Tree moment, whatever the hell that was. Kyle herself said, we have been having issues in our marriage with Mauricio. It's been a tough year. Why is it then Kyle or Sutton being a hypocrite or stabbing her in the back when she simply had a follow-up question of, well, what are the issues? Well, what's going on? Do you want to talk about it? Kyle yourself, Kyle, brought it up on camera first. So I'm really super confused as to how Sutton simply asking a follow-up question, which anybody would, if I'm talking to my girlfriend and she's like, yeah, you know, Candy, like me and my husband, like this has been a really rough year for us. We've really been going through it. My next sentence is, I'm so sorry. What's been going on? Duh. So this whole narrative of like Sutton being a pot stirrer and trying to come after me doesn't make any sense. She simply asked a normal, logical follow-up question. Well, what's the problem? Also, why Sutton isn't hypocritical in this post is because Sutton came onto the show. They said this is her 4th year. Wow, time flies. Sutton came onto the show divorced. Like straight up single divorced woman. That's how we were introduced to Sutton. That's how Sutton currently is. So she's not being hypocritical about not talking about her divorce. And she actually has talked about it. She talked about how when they were divorcing, how it was very tense and how the kids were like, are you guys getting divorced when they were separated? She asked her ex-husband, Christian, to leave just so they had time to think about it. And the next day, unbeknownst to her, he blindsided her and he filed for divorce and how they were going through that for like a year and he would come in and out. She has talked about it. But the core issue is this: Sutton came onto the show divorced, not married. So you can't compare apples to oranges. Kyle came onto the show very much married. Kyle, for the last 10 to 12 years, has very much branded and monetized as she should have. This is not me slighting Kyle by any means. Like, big ups to Kyle. This is exactly what she should have done. If you're going to be on a reality TV show where literally the premise is housewives, you better leverage your husband and your marriage and your family unit as a brand. And that's what they've done for over a decade. Mauricio himself, he has a whole show on Netflix based on the fact that he has branded himself as this family guy, the agency as this family real estate agency. Whether that is true or not, it's really not true, to be honest. You know, it's very much a fake narrative for the Netflix show. But that's their brand, right? Their brand has been Kyle and Mauricio, the perfect couple. They have all of these kids and they're doing everything together and all of this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And they have the agency and family owned and da, 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 da. They have monetized that and branded that literally for over a decade. So you cannot now act like it is absurd for literally anyone to bring the state of your marriage into question when that has literally been your entire cash cow for over the last decade. And you're on a reality TV show based on your personal life as a housewife. Those are apples to oranges. Sutton came on the show divorced for at least 5 to 7 years, right? Because if she came on 4 years ago, and I think now she's been divorced for about 7 or 8 years. You know, I might be, to quote Phaedra, that might be some sketchy math there. But for whatever it is, right? She came on the show divorced. She has been branding herself and monetizing herself as a rich, divorced woman. So it's apples to oranges. And she has been talking about it. Even in the last episode, she's talking about Christian and how he was controlling and how he's moving and how all of this stuff. She has talked about it. But the catalyst for her divorce or that, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like it's such a reach. It is such a reach with that one. Okay. Now let's keep going. On an Amazon Live session, Kyle addressed where she and Sutton stand. "I'm just taking a little break from Sutton," said Kyle in a post shared by Bravo Snarkside via Bravo Housewives, "because Sutton was really my friend. We're friends. I have this Amazon Live clip and we'll watch it. And I was really surprised at her, like, coming at me and acting like I had done something wrong by having something going wrong in my marriage," she wrote. Okay, Kyle, I'm going to stop you there. And we will watch the clip. This is where you're getting it wrong, Kyle. Sutton never said that something was wrong with you because something was going wrong in your marriage. Sutton just said what's going on in your marriage. She never judged you. She never said you were wrong. She was like, Sutton basically said, "I thought we were friends. You talked about it publicly on the show first. And I'm asking you, as a friend who's on a reality television show with you, what's going on in your marriage?" Like all the other bloggers and paid sixes and reality blurbs and YouTubers are talking about. And it's very, very telling. Like, why does Kyle have so much smoke for Sutton bringing it up when Dorit brought it up multiple times on camera? Dorit brought up this the issues in Kyle's marriage when they were in the car going to the Pretty Woman surprise party for Dorit. Dorit brought it up when Kyle came over to her house for dinner. So Dorit brought it up on camera twice about the issues that Kyle and Mauricio were having. But she doesn't have that same level of smoke for Dorit. When Sutton brings it up, all of a sudden Sutton is this horrible hypocrite trying to destroy you and stabbing you in the back. I'm confused on that one. What's the difference between Dorit bringing it up on camera and Sutton bringing it up on camera both brought it up on camera after Kyle, you yourself brought it up on camera first. So I'm confused as to how Sutton is the villain in all of this. And you guys know me, I don't hero worship. I like Sutton, she's my favorite on the show, but if I actually felt that Sutton was in the wrong, I would say that. I'm not just saying I think Sutton is right just because I like her more than Kyle. Again, nothing personal, just as the characters that they're playing on the show, I like Sutton better. But even with that, if I thought Sutton truly was this maniacal stabbing in the back person, I would say that. But that's just not how I see this landing. So I want to know what you guys think, okay? Put it down below. As if I wasn't telling everybody everything, when actually, like I said a minute ago, I did tell everybody right out the gate that I was having problems in my marriage. Exactly. And all Sutton said was, what are the problems? Kyle said she was surprised because Sutton often discusses the struggle of her divorce. Why wasn't she just being supportive and my friend, asks Kyle. Like you're mad at me. I just felt so weird when and then all of her interviews, I don't see any of that until the show airs, are really not nice. They're mean. Here I was thinking that we're friends. Kyle, you are friends. She's just not kissing your butt. She's just not pretending like somehow you get a pass when everybody else on the show, current and past, have had to talk about the very difficult things going on in their lives, whether it's their personal lives or their marriages or what's going on with their children. Kyle has held everybody else's feet to the fire. Turnabout is fair play. You see? Kyle added that some housewives will do anything to make a splash, and she feels Sutton is one of them. You're just mad because Sutton is winning this season. Because it just doesn't make any sense to me, she added. I didn't do anything to her. This is the problem, Kyle. It's not personal. Sutton is not attacking you because she doesn't like you. Sutton is asking you the questions that everybody wants to know because she's doing her job. The same exact way, Kyle, you have been, quote, doing your, vanity producer job for the last 13 years of stirring the pot. We have to tell the truth. You're not being honest. What's going on with you? What's going on with Kim's drinking? What's going on with Lucy Applegoosey, LVP? What's going on with Munchausen, Yolanda? What's going on with Brandy, Denise? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You've had no problem coming after every single housewife with what's going on in their life, but somehow your life that you literally have monetized and branded for the decade is off limits. Doesn't make any sense, Kyle. All right, now let's watch her Amazon Live clip. Okay. Here we go.
H says, is there any of the ladies you're currently not talking to? Well, I hate to think I'm not talking to, but I've said this on Teddy's podcast. I'm just taking a little break from Sutton because because Sutton is really my friend. We're friends. And I was really, really surprised at her like coming at me and acting like I had done something wrong by having something going wrong in my marriage, like that I wasn't like telling everybody everything, when I actually, like I said a minute ago, I did tell everybody right out of the gate that I was having problems in my marriage. And I'm so surprised because she talks about, her divorce is such a struggle, and and no, I'm not divorced, and so I don't want to confuse that there, but it was so painful for her. Like, why wasn't she just being supportive? And my friend, like, you're mad at me? It just felt so weird. And then all her interviews, I don't see any of that until the show airs, are really not nice. They're mean. They're just mean. And I'm like, wow, here I thinking that we're friends and we just had a little bump in the road and then we're fine. And she's saying all these mean things in her interview. So I'm going to just need a minute. I'm going to need a minute. And I just don't understand that at all. I feel like, some housewives come in and like they want to make a splash and they'll just maybe do anything, and I I feel like that's kind of what she's doing right now, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't do anything to her, and we were in a great place when the show started, really good place. So anyway, okay. Danielle says, you are so normal. Love all your content. Thank you so much. Maddie asks, what is your favorite stocking stuffer? I like to put, for my daughters, I like to put jewelry, like a little piece of jewelry in their stocking, because that's a small box, and beauty products because they're tiny. Lip things, my favorite lip gloss, what are my favorite colors at the time. We talked about some of these that we showed before. This is another great thing, vitamin C to afterglow, that lip mask that I talked about too. Fun little things like that. Just a felt stocking stuffer and a little piece of jewelry, which we always love.
Oof. Okay, you guys. Oh.
H says, is there any?
Okay. So you heard it from the horse's mouth. Again, bear with me because I'm going to give Kyle an ounce of grace on this. An ounce of grace, because I know she lost her friend, and I know that the death of her friend really put her in a tizzy, and not everybody has the same level of emotional intelligence. So for Kyle to say, we were in a good place and I don't know why she's doing this to me and I didn't do anything wrong, I think in Kyle's mind, and I'm trying to be very graceful to her and not just think that she's, a liar and being manipulative. I'm going to give her an ounce of grace. And maybe in her mind, that's how she's really interpreting everything. Because when people are really horrible, or not necessarily horrible, but are unhealthy communicators, conversations to them feel like attacks, or asking questions feels like an argument. So people who lack a certain level of emotional intelligence, it's really hard to have conversations with them where you're asking questions or you're discussing something, because they feel like you are attacking them, or they feel like, oh, it's an argument, where it's like, it's not an argument, it's not an attack. We're just trying to have a conversation about something. So maybe in Kyle's mind, she experiences, oh my gosh, you're asking me questions. Oh my gosh, you're holding me accountable. Oh my gosh, you're not just kissing my butt, as you're attacking me. You're saying something's wrong with me. They personalize it. You're coming after me. Where Sutton was just like, no, I'm your friend, Kyle, and I'm asking you questions because you told us that you were having problems in your marriage. And Kyle is the queen of, you ask her a question and that she doesn't want to answer, the first thing she does is then come for you. Oh, you're asking about my drinking? Well, you're an alcoholic. You drink too much. Is that your fifth glass? Oh, you're asking about me working out? Well, you don't eat. You push your food around. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever had conversations with people like that, where you simply ask them a question that they don't want to answer? And instead of just saying, well, I'd rather not talk about that right now, they turn it around and they try to attack you. That's what Kyle does. Because everything she's attacking Sutton about is something that in her own life she is dealing with or has an insecurity around. Drinking, and her weight and her body and all of that. I don't think it's, again, in my Nene voice, I don't think it's a coincidence that the same exact thing that she is trying to deflect onto and project onto Sutton are the two same exact things that have been very public and very vocal about Kyle herself struggling with. It's like when you are, like, say you're going through a tough time with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and your friend is like, oh my gosh, like, he didn't come home last night. And because you're triggered by the question, you're like, yeah, well, your boyfriend is cheating on you too. Or where was your boyfriend at? Where was your woman at? Where was your girl at? Don't come at me. Worry about your man. Where the person's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just asking you questions because I'm concerned about you. But because you are so in your feelings and you're so triggered by the question, and because you don't want to actually be honest with yourself, you are now trying to deflect and attack me. So I'm going to give Kyle a little bit of grace here and just think and just say, you know what? She may not be an emotionally intelligent place. She may not have the communication skills. She is going through crisis and trauma where she's maybe just not emotionally in a place to actually digest her own stuff going on and then have someone give her support in a way that isn't just kissing your butt. Sometimes support looks different. Sometimes support is saying, well, girl, what's going on? Not just, oh my God, Kyle, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. Because unless you are just being a yes person to Kyle, she attacks you and she flips it on you. Because everybody else who is a yes, like Erica Jane is a yes person to Kyle. Yes, Kyle, you're right. Yes, Kyle, you don't deserve this, Kyle. Why? Yeah, that was an attack, Kyle. Yeah, you're right, Kyle. Yes, Kyle. Yes, Kyle. Unless you are a yes person to Kyle, she's going to attack you and twist it on you. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. What do you think about this quote feud or whatever you want to call it between Sutton and Kyle? Do you think Kyle is right? Sutton is attacking her. She's stabbing her in the back. It's all strategic just for her to have a moment on TV. Or do you think, Kyle, you might be going through something, and just because Sutton isn't kissing your butt, or just because Sutton is asking the questions that everybody's asking, doesn't mean she's attacking you. It means that, number one, she's doing her job, because at the end of the day, she's getting a paycheck to be on the show. So she is doing her job. And two, maybe she actually is being a friend, but you're just not in a place to receive it. Because Sutton hasn't done anything that none of the other women haven't done. She really hasn't. But yet, all of a sudden, Sutton's this horrible person. So put it down below and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, now we're going to finally move into